loud. All right, and let me go ahead and share my screen. Ta-da! And there is one of our favorite people, Dr. Albert Einstein. And what did Einstein say way back? The future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. And the reason that I love to start this presentation off with that is because I feel it's really important for people to understand that even though we are talking about frequencies, and when we talk frequencies and energy healing, I think with that there's a lot of sometimes feeling like, oh, maybe this is just kind of woo-woo. You know, how we in the energy healing field, you know, for so many years, I like to say, you know, I kind of was underground with that because I didn't want to be looked at as just being some kind of, you know, airy-fairy woo-woo flake. But now we've come all the way forward to say frequencies is where medicine is going, not even going, it is there. So this is not woo-woo, this is science. And this is a device that has been created through science. So let's begin with simply, what is terahertz frequency? And I'm starting with terahertz frequency because that's really the frequency that is being blown out of these beautiful devices. Interestingly enough, in 2004, so that's been a while, our government named Terahertz technology to be one of the top 10 technologies that will change the future world. I mean, how fabulous is that? And how many of us had heard of it up until then? I know, at least personally, I never have. So what is that frequency? Well, on that spectrum of frequencies, it actually sits, and I'll show you that in a second, between microwave frequencies and infrared frequencies. It's at a range of 100 gigahertz to 10 with those wavelengths, and it can actually pass through non-conducting materials. So the frequency can pass through clothing. So I'm just going to answer that question right off. Do you need to take your clothes off for a therapy session? No, you can, it passes right through your clothes, through paper, through plastic, although you don't want to wand into plastic, and glass. And you're going to see where that becomes really important when we talk about wanding the water. It is 100% safe, and it is a non-ionizing frequency. It's actually being used right now in lots of different types of medical, aviation, with different drinking waters, social environment, and life fields. So it's being used in so many different areas. And it's such a beautiful frequency because this particular frequency, the volume of the terahertz frequency that are coming out of the wands is the exact frequency as a healthy human cell. And you're going to see that in just a moment and why that's so important. But it's called, by some American scientists who have been studying and working with it, the wave of life. Why? Because again, it matches that vibrational frequency of a human cell. Japanese scientists called it the light of life. And I love what the Chinese scientists said. They called it God's wave band. That's pretty powerful stuff. So, I took off where it is on the wave band. So I thought that was just enough on the terahertz, but you pretty much get the picture. All right, so let's talk about the 5 different features of our wand. We have safety, penetration, identification, and that's of cells, activation, and it's user-friendly. So let's quickly go through those 5 features. So let's start right off with safety, because I know that that's a big question for a lot of people. I want you all to know that this device is patented, and those patents are held by the Chinese. It is certified. We have all the safety and efficacy. It has been shown to be 100% safe. And you can see they're all the different studies that are on here and all the safety reports. And it was done by the Chinese Academy of Science and SimCom. So it is a very prestigious academy that holds the patents and the certifications. There are 62 clinical studies, tests reported and issued by the Beijing Research Institute of Chemical Technology. So again, just know that this is 100% safe. And those of you that are on here, you've already seen so many testimonials, and those of us that have it, myself included and others, we're all getting great results. It's safe. All right, let's talk about penetration. Why is penetration such an important thing? Well, believe it or not, we're actually getting terahertz radiation from the sun and even the moon. But the way that that radiation is coming through to us, it doesn't penetrate all the way through into deep into the bones. But the way that this device has been designed, it's actually a three-part technology. So it is the terahertz frequency along with scalar energy, which is a very strong healing energy, and quartz technology. So these wands have quartz technology built in. There's a lot of minerals and quartz in them, and that helps to penetrate these frequencies deep into the body. It penetrates between 20 and 30 centimeters, so deep in. So it's able to reach deep into the bone marrow. It gets into those micro vessels and capillaries, which means that it can also really enhance our circulation, and it eliminates water retention. We're going to get into that in a minute. But understanding that it penetrates deep into the body is an important feature of the wands. Identification. I'm going to share this next screen because I think this is so important. What does identification mean? Well, I love the way that this particular screen explains it. So those vibrations, those hertz waves are vibrating, like we said, at the same frequency as a normal human body cell. So when it goes into the body tissues, it passes through healthy cells at a constant temperature. And one of the things that it's actually doing is it's charging up our healthy cells. So, even we have our cell phone, right? And what happens with the cell phone over time and usage, I'll call it stress if it's talking about the body, the cell charge starts to go down. And each night we have to plug it back in and charge it up like the cells are batteries. Well, essentially, even our healthy cells also start to lose some of that activation. So when this comes in, it's actually charging up our healthy cells, and it's coming in at a constant temperature. But what happens when that frequency hits unhealthy cells is it causes those cells to vibrate really fast. And when they vibrate really fast, it increases their cellular temperature. And then what happens is it essentially liquefies. And that's the detoxification. It liquefies them and then allows them to detox out of the body. So that's what's happening together with that quantum technology, and it's able to penetrate deeply. So I really love that explanation of it. It activates the healthy cells. That's what we were just talking about. It also regulates the body temperature, improving the immunity system, activating the weak and inactive cells. So it just brings everything up into a really good place. So one of the things that I know we talk about, and somebody had asked what happens if you do too much, how do you know? And one of the things that can happen when we're detoxing is we can get really, really tired. Well, one of the things that happens when we're tired is it's just the body's way of helping itself with the detox, overwhelming and rebalancing everything out. Right. And so that's one of the things that can happen. But the other thing that can happen is once that happens, the energy that you're able to now have is just off the charts. It's one of the things that I absolutely love about it is that during the day, I have tremendous energy. But on the other hand, when it's time to go to sleep, I sleep so deeply. So it also balances out those circadian rhythms. So I do want to mention that as well. Energy, increasing the energy over time once you've gotten through that initial detoxification period can be great. All right, user-friendly, so important, right? This is so simple. What do we like to say? Point and blow. Now, we do have protocols. We'll explain that in a second, but please don't make this a big complication. How do we do it? It's super simple. Look, you can just see people are just taking it, turning it on and blowing. How far or how close to the body is so individual. If you're blowing at a high blow rate, low heat, that might be too much. It might be uncomfortable to have all that coming right at you. You might want to take it out a little bit. It's so individual. If you're using a lot of heat, once again, if you're really close, it might be too high. So you take it away. So it's very individual, and you can see that on here. Other people can blow on you right here on the foot. You can do it yourself. This lady, I love this picture because this is exactly what I do. I'll get on my floor and I'll grab it and I'll just take this wand and I'll just start going up and down the front of my body. Now, a lot of people, we all know that also on the back, it's really beautiful to do it up and down the spine. And so when we live alone, that can be challenging. People are trying to find wand handlers and holders and going up and down like this. In my mind, that's just way too complicated. If I have to set it up into something and make sure it doesn't fall, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to put something onto this that's going to cause me to not want to do it. This way, when you go up and down through the front, think about what we talked about with penetration. It can penetrate all the way 30 centimeters. It can penetrate into the bone. It penetrates deep into the front and the back of the spine. Do it on the front, shut your eyes, and just feel it. I love to do that. I can feel it. And I just put my focus on the back of my spine as I'm doing it. And I just feel that heat all the way up and down the spine. So beautiful. Can it be done on everybody? Look at this. It's being done on a senior. It's being done on babies. Yes, you can do it on babies. You can do it on pets. You can do it on plants. You can do it on your food. You can do it in crystals. You just blow. It is such a beautiful way to do it. Super easy. All right, so now I'm just going to go through the 8 different steps or ways that the wand can really help you with your health. So I've already talked about it's the same frequency, so it's going to eliminate those unhealthy cells. Activating inert cells. So we also have cells that they're not negative cells, but they're just kind of there. They're inert cells. So we're going to charge those up, get those working, increase the heat. And guess what else can happen with this? What else could be an inert cell? Our body's own inert stem cells. So we have stem cells that are hanging out in our bones. They're hanging out in the bones of our spine, in the bones up here in our sinus cavities, in the bones of our hips, in our bones. And when you get in and you heat the bones, it activates our body's own latent stem cells. And those stem cells are released and they go to wherever in the body needs to be healed. So you've probably have heard of stem cell therapy, where now they take stem cells and inject them maybe into knees to help, regenerate some ligaments and tissue in the knee. We have those in our body, and this can help generate that as well. So activate inert cells. All right, increasing self-healing going on. It also can help strengthen the DNA and the organic molecules to help the self-replicating cells. It clears the meridians in the lymph. So now one of the things that you'll see when you explore a lot around this lymph is you can see that it will be explained both in Chinese medicine or in Eastern terminologies, but also in Western terminologies. So we're doing the same things, but sometimes the languaging is a little bit differently. So in Chinese medicine, they 3,000 years ago, amazingly, mapped out all the different meridian systems. And where they know in their medicine, where there is a blockage in the meridian is where you can end up having a dis-ease or some problem. So their whole thing is they use needles, they use cupping, they use all kinds of different things, qigong, in order to unblock the meridians. That's what the terahertz frequency wand does as well. It unblocks the meridians. Now, interestingly enough, in the last 10 years, where Western scientists have also now been working, they don't call it the meridian system, they call it the fascial lines. So before the fascia, they didn't know what fascia was. They just kind of thought it was just kind of holding everything together, but didn't really get the incredible whole organ system that is now the fascia around the same lymph and the meridian. So it's also working deep into the fascia to help it unbind, slide and glide, get rid of a lot of the binding and the adhesions of the fascia to the bone, to the muscle, to the ligament, etc. So unbinding, stimulating acupuncture points, purifying the blood, improving the microcirculation. So this is such a big one for all the lower leg, the upper body, all of our microcirculation, the blood vessels, etc. It really, really helps to get everything up and flowing again. One of the other things that it's been found to do is to reduce blood resistance and viscosity. Viscosity meaning the thickness of the blood. So when we are not feeling good, we're not doing well, the blood tends to clump up and it creates a lot of dis-ease in the body. And what is this doing? Well, it's thinning out the blood. All right. So it allows much better blood flow in the body. Well, regulates glands. Yes, it even has a way that it, again, just because it's going in there and helping the body help itself. So we're finding that it's really helping the endocrine glands. And this is always an interesting one to me, removes water retention. So I always like to talk about this just because I found it such a fascinating statistic when I was kind of looking up, doing a study on exactly what percentage really of our body is made up of water and fluid. And what I learned is when we are babies and we're just born, we're about 75% water. And as we get older and like over 50 and over 60, that percentage can go way down to even 40%. So I like to say we kind of age by drying out, and our bones get brittle and our skin gets dry and our hair gets dry. And at least that's been my experience, right? So we have intercellular hydration, which is the water that's actually in our cells hydrating us. But when we don't have that, there's a lot of excess fluid and edema that builds up. And that's the water retention. That's the moisture that we really want to get rid of, like edema in the ankles and different places like that. And what happens is when we get that, our blood pressure goes up, right? And we go to the doctor and they say, don't eat salt, and we're going to give you a diuretic because we want to get you to get rid of that excess fluid. Well, guess what? This is its own natural diuretic. It will help you get rid of that excess moisture that we don't want in there, which again will help with that circulation, cleansing the blood, promoting blood circulation, softening up the vessels and the lumps. All right, so those are just some of the ways that the Iteracare wands are helping our bodies to heal itself. Remembering again, it is not a medical device. It itself is not healing or curing any illness or disease. That's really, really important just to go over one more time. All it's doing is giving our body the way to unblock and to help itself. All right, so quickly, who is it suitable for? It's suitable for any type of inflammation. It's great for inflammation, rhinitis, gastritis, gynecological inflammations, prostatitis, beautiful for all those things. Great to help with different pains. And I'm excited because Rob's going to tell us just a testimonial that he had just in the last 2 days when we get off, sharing how it really helped him with his back. But I'll let him share his own testimonial. Shoulder and neck pain, joint pain, low back pain, dysmenorrhea, headaches, even sciatica. All these things can be helped with the wand. Different blockages, meridian blockages, lymphatic blockages. I know in working with so many of my clients that, especially because we sit, we don't move a lot, that our lymph system gets all blocked up and sluggish, and that's part of our body's elimination system. So when we sit and that gets blocked up, we can't eliminate. When we can't eliminate, we get toxic, and you know what happens with all that. Then we get inflamed and off we go. It's even been great for varicose veins. I'm going to show you some pictures of that. Helps with weight loss, mainly because you're going to rebalance the body. You're going to allow the body to heal itself, get rid of the inflammation, insomnia, diabetes, high blood pressure. All these things have been shown to be helped with this device. And all different types of skin issues, acne, blemishes, psoriasis, eczema. It's amazing for skin issues. And a lot of these skin issues come from issues in the gut, detoxification, blockages, etc. So when we give the body that, then the symptoms of that will start to get reduced. Now, yes, there are things that we don't want to wand for, and that's important to know as well. Never recommended for pregnant women. We know we don't recommend anything ever, ever, ever for pregnant women. And menstruation. So I just like to make a caveat to the menstruation. Why menstruation? Well, because you saw that it can increase blood flow, and that can be a wonderful thing. Now, what I have found is For some women, especially with the heat, when we're having our periods or even pre-period, that when you wand along the belly with some heat, oh, it can just feel so good. From some women, they love it and they have really, practically no cramps, not any more bleeding. But there are some women, if they are wanding during menstruation, have found that it does increase blood flow. So that's something that's very individual to a person. But right off, just for safety's sake, they recommend not to do it then. Any kind of acute disease, something comes on quickly, you go and seek medical attention. People with congenital heart and diseases, congenital, we don't want to mess with that. Again, medical treatment. Objects implanted. It's recommended that we do not wand directly over anything that's implanted, particularly anything with metal. You don't want to heat the metal. And with that vibration, the vibration, even if you're using it on low heat, you're still vibrating. And the vibration can increase the temperature in the metal or in other things. So you just want to wand around it. All right. Like I know I have implants. People say, how about silver fillings? How about implants? I know I have some implants in my mouth. I still wand my face. I don't wand directly over anything. So just be very aware of that. And the last one is over open wounds and fractures. Again, those you want to seek medical attention. Now, once the wound starts to heal up, then definitely do it. And what we found is you'll get a much quicker healing response. And we've seen where scarring is minimal to none, but not on open wounds. All right, so let me go to my next slide. Come. There we go. All right, so now let me just share the 3 devices that we currently have available for us to use. There are 3 devices, and all 3 devices integrate those 3 top technologies, which I've already talked about: the terahertz, the scalar quantum, and the optical quartz. Okay, and again, they're all inspected and certified by the Chinese Beijing Academy of Sciences. So right now we have that red classic, $350. It is just a beautiful device, and it is great for personal use. I love my classic. Even though I just have gotten my premium and my pro, I'll tell you what, I could just be happy with that classic. It has 3 settings. So you get a cooler setting, you get a medium heat, a low blow, and a high setting with high heat. It really has everything you need. The one thing that I do want to say about it though is it is a very, you want to baby it. Okay, because think it's got these healing crystals in it, and it doesn't have a very hefty outside carriage on it. So if you get it, just really treat it very gently, be very careful. I try not to have it sitting up, especially with the long cord, in a place that it can be pulled off and fallen onto a ceramic tile, because it will break. Okay, so just be very careful with that if you get it. The new premium is the middle one that you see here. It's definitely a heftier. It has a beautiful hand feel because it's a little bit heavier here, not so long in the snout, as I like to say. The thing with the premium is it has 2 settings. It has a heat with not quite as powerful a blow, and then it has high heat, high blow. And it is definitely a little bit more powerful, but it doesn't have the cool setting. So just be aware of that. And it is $1,050, and it can be personal or clinic use, whichever way, depending on how you're going to use it. And then we have that beautiful Pro. You can see it is much heavier. It is much more substantial. You can see right here where it has many more settings. It even has a cold shot setting. So it can be used in clinic, even for any kind of aesthetics. So a lot of people are using it because it will help tighten up the skin. Yes, it really, really does do that. All 3 of them will tighten up the skin. But if you're doing it in a clinic setting, then you have a cold shot to really close down the pores. So that's the Pro, $3,500 for that one. All right, so now that's basically about the device themselves. Let's talk a little bit about how to use it. Okay, now I have it. What do I do with it? Well, the very first thing we tell everybody to do when they take any of the wands out, get it out, and let's start wanding the water. Why? What happens when you wand the water? Sending those frequencies into the water structures, we call it structuring the water. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you would look at the water under a microscope, you would see that water crystals are in these, they're clumps together, okay? And they're big. And when you drink, yes, some of the water will get into your cells, but a lot of it doesn't. And you've had the experience, maybe first thing in the morning, you've been told you got to drink a big glass of water, hydrate yourself up. So you drink that big water first thing in the morning, and within what, 5-10 minutes, you're right in the potty, just peeing it all out, right? Did anything get in? I've had so many clients tell me, Renee, I couldn't possibly be dehydrated. Oh my goodness, I drink water all day long. Well, you might drink water all day long, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting hydrated. When you wand the water, it takes those clusters and it puts them into a linear chain. And a linear chain, very small clusters. Now it's able to actually get into the cells. Now you're able to not only bring the water into the cells, but the terahertz healing frequency into the cells. So when you start to drink it, you get hydrated. You can feel it. You can feel how all of a sudden, wow, just hydrating your body, that in and of itself is a reason to get the wand. I'm telling you, because it's just amazing. And how do you know? When you actually, I hate drinking water. I'll just be honest. Just drinking regular tap water and filtered. I'll use the word filtered because you do want to use filtered water. You don't want to be wanding water from the tap that has all kinds of chemicals and who knows what all's in it. You want it to be either reverse osmosis, some kind of a filtered water, or spring water. And you're drinking it. When I would just drink regular water, I just didn't like it. I almost like gagged on it. I would choke. I was not pleasant. I didn't enjoy it. But when I take this structured water, guys, there's something to it. It's a mouthfeel. It's silky soft. You absolutely can feel the difference. And it just goes down so beautifully and easily. It's amazing. It's a felt difference. And you can see all the different benefits that you're going to get just from wanding the water. Now, how do you wand the water? Well, if you've been on social media, you will see all kinds of contraptions. For some reason, no matter how much we tell people you don't need to hang it over and do it this way, they still insist on doing that. But again, I'm of the keep it simple so you'll actually do it. It goes through glass. Remember, we talked about the frequencies go through glass. So if you really want to wand over into the water, fine, but just be careful because then it splashes and you don't want that water to get up into the wand. Just put it over here. So what I like to do is get a big jug of water. You can see mine even has a little spout here. I love that. But even if you don't, it's fine. I have my wand here. I take a fat book. It doesn't matter. You could even do it down in the bottom, but this is just how I like to do it. I bring it up, put a little towel over it, because you can see I have a granite top. I don't want anything happening to my wand. That's my way of babying it. I turn it on and I blow. Now, let's talk for a second about the temperature of the water, because this is important. In Chinese medicine, they are very clear that you do not drink cold water, especially not ice cold water. Number one, it's a shock to the body. They say that it will dim your digestive fires, but regardless, your body's already at around 98.6. You put super cold water in it, it's a shock to the body. Now the body has to work to warm that water back up. That's number one. But number two, frequencies are much more active in room temperature, or even more in warm water. Now, interestingly enough, when I did my study as I do on fascia, because I work with movement, fascia reacts much better too when it's heated. So I just love that when you kind of find these things that kind of correspond with each other. So what I do is I put warm or hot water into my jug, and I wand on the first setting, which is a cool setting, but a high blow. Why? Because a lot of times I'll turn it on and I'll go out and I'll be busy doing something else, because I want to wand my big jug at least 5 minutes. Do I have to? I don't know, but that's what I do. And I don't want my wand heating up too much. So I just like it on there. It works beautifully. My water is warm and off I go. A lot of people are like, yeah, Renee, but you know what? It's hot. I live in the desert. I need cold water. Can I put it in the refrigerator after it's wanded? And here's what I can say. You can do anything you want. Will it hurt you to drink the wanded water cold? No, but you will not get the same benefit as if you drink it at least room temperature. That's just the bottom line. I would try to make it nicer than that and give you what you want, but that's the bottom line to the temperature of the wanded water. Now, you can also just do it by the glass. Fill up a glass with your water and wand. How long? 1 to 2 minutes for one glass, but with this big one, I like to go 5 to 7. All right. Now, from the water then, we have what we call our beginning 10-step protocol. And this is when you first get started. This is simply a recommendation. It's a nice place to begin, especially if you know you're not super sensitive. How would you know? You would know if you have chronic illness, Lyme's disease, Epstein-Barr, some of these things you've been dealing with for a long time, and you already know that once you start something new, you don't feel well for a while. Then you know you want to just start with the water. Start with the water for a few days. And what I would recommend is start with the water as long as you're good, then maybe add the first 2 steps. What are the first 2 steps? You're going to blow on your palms. How about a minute for this palm? A minute for this palm. I'm doing it this way because people have told me, please show me what to do. Take your wand and blow like this. There's a whole thing. You can blow clockwise. You can go counterclockwise. You can go in the front. You can go in the back. It goes in 30 centimeters. If you go in the front on the palm, you're also getting the back. But I like to do both because it feels good. 1 minute here, 1 minute here. It's pretty simple. Go on the soles of your feet. Same thing on the foot. Use heat if you can handle heat. Don't use heat if you can't handle heat. 1 minute on one foot. 1 minute on another foot. And then what you'll see is then from there, you can go into the different lymph points behind the knee. Rinse here, but I can't reach it, Renee. Do the front of the knee. It's going to go to the back of the knee. Okay. And you just wand in a circle, wand up and down. Don't make it a whole big issue. Just point, blow, and wand. How about in the groin? Again, right. These are places with lymphatics. Just up and down, groin. Maybe do 2 minutes. Armpit. We know this is another place with lots of lymph nodes. So sometimes I'll go here in circles, go here. Sometimes I'll go up and down a little bit, right? Make it right like here. That's simple. Lymph in the neck. Beautiful. Lymph the neck. How? Both sides, one side. Do it about a minute. Do it 2 minutes. Up in the upper back. Can't reach your back. Sometimes you might have too much shoulder issue. Do it from the front. Visualize it straight through to the back. Now, this one on the top of the head, there is one contraindication. If you have high blood pressure, you don't want to wand up on the top one. Why? Because you don't want to bring the energy up into your head. Okay, that's the only contraindication for high blood pressure. On the tush, same thing, can't reach your tush, do the front, think about the tush, up and down the back, from the front if you can't reach it, and then drink a couple more glasses of warm water. There you have it. You do not, especially in the beginning, don't wand any more than 20 minutes. And I'd recommend in the beginning, drinking the water, maybe go, even if you're feeling pretty healthy, maybe go 10, 15 minutes for the first day. Just give your body a chance to absorb the frequencies. All right. Don't overdo it. I know when we get it, we really want to do it, but don't overdo it. Let's say oh my gosh, I just pulled my back out and I just got my wand. Renee, do I really have to go through all that? I just want to wand my back. Drink the water, wand your back. Why are we doing this? We're doing this protocol because what happens is it allows the body to open up the energy channels and just get the body ready for more of the frequency. That's all. If you want to just go right to your areas of pain, just go right to your areas of pain. It's fine. Wand. All right. So now let me just share with you just a few of these beautiful testimonials. Again, just to give you a visual sense of some of the things that has helped. Isn't it interesting that it can help in weight management? Now, why is that? Well, because for so many of us, Renee, I'm eating well, I'm moving, I'm doing everything that you say to do, and the weight just won't come off. Well, you know what? We've got to heal from the inside. If we have imbalances, if we have toxicity, a huge issue and reason to be overweight is inflammation. And when we can rebalance the body and reduce inflammation, the weight will take care of itself. I know this even from personal experience. When I had a chronic illness, I was quite sick. I had a bad systemic staph infection for years, didn't know what it was. I was carrying a good extra, 5 or 6 pounds. And, I was moving every day, doing all the right stuff. It wasn't going anywhere. As soon as I healed that infection and my inflammation went down, out of nowhere, I dropped that weight. And then since I've been wanting in the last month or two, I've reduced even more inflammation and I've dropped another few pounds. So I know that that is the case. So just a great reason and way to do it. All right, let's go to psoriasis, skin issues. Here's this person after 7 days. Don't you just want to, my heart goes out to this person. Now, yes, 7 days. It wasn't what we call a one-hit wonder. They didn't wand for 10 minutes and all their psoriasis disappeared. So if that's what you're thinking, that's not how it works. The body has to heal. And it wouldn't surprise me if we saw what this person looked like before they started, after 7 days, this might even look a little worse. That's a possibility because the body has to get rid of whatever it is that is causing this. So sometimes that can happen. But now look, they kept wanding. And after 9 days, what you might notice is the red isn't quite as much, but now the flaking is coming out. And if you were that person, wouldn't you just go, oh, see, it's not working. I'm getting worse. This is making me worse. They kept wanding. And look what happened after 22 days. And I guarantee you this person has had bad psoriasis for a long time. And 22 days, they were close to healed. Thyroid nodules, and you can really see this one right up here in the neck. It's a very enlarged nodule. And after 10 therapies, you can barely see anything there. Endocrine. Another one of psoriasis with the flaking going on here. This was after 10 therapies. Burns. So, it needed to heal a little bit, kept going with the burn. After 10 or so, it really is healing up, and hopefully by wanding won't have the scars. Phlebitis, it's one of those itises, and it shows up too in redness and thickness here. And this is after 10 times. Started here, got a little bit better. Look what it looks like after 20 therapy sessions. Bell's palsy, so the neuropathy, look at that, or neurology. After a week, this poor man, and Bell's palsy can take a while, if ever, to heal, and look at that. Just beautiful. Just pigmentation. As we get older, we get pigmentation. We get age spots, what we used to call liver spots, right? And spots from the sun, just living in this society. We get pigmentation. And if you have something like that, take a before picture and wand it every day. And just see what's going to happen. You can see how it has really reduced. I have so many of these. And so does my husband. He's taking pictures and wanding. He has some places. We're excited to watch that happen. Beauty effects. When I first saw this, I looked and I was like, I'm not sure what it is I'm looking at, but apparently I must be missing something. And what I was missing, let me move this over a little bit. On this lady right here, she decided just to wand half of her face. It's the same lady. And they call it going from an O. You can see how rounded she is right here on this left side. And she only wanded this. And she went from an O face to a V face. So it took out all that inflammation. But it will also help with wrinkles, again, over time. And it does tighten up the skin. Varicose veins. This was just after one treatment. The veins disappeared on the legs. Now, if that doesn't happen for you in one treatment, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. I think for a lot of us, it can take a few more times, but you can definitely see that it will help with that. All right, so I'm going to stop with that. Let me just do a quick summary. just letting you know that the manufacturer is constantly focusing and upgrading these generation of the terahertz technologies. We're already on the 4th and 5th generation with our wands, and the technology just keeps getting better and better and better. Based on the 3 core technologies, it's been passed strict inspections for the national authority, numerous proven test results. By the way, there is a quality assurance. You do get a 1-year warranty against any manufacturer's defects. And Price International is the worldwide sole distributor. And there are a lot of knockoffs now because this is just exploding. I mean, but it's exploding because our product works. So if you go and you find them somewhere else, you're going on Amazon, you're going to get it from eBay. Oh, and look, I can get it for $25 or less at Walmart. They're not the same. You're not going to get the same result. It must be from Price International and have those serial codes on it. Okay. So don't think that you're doing something. Ooh, I'm going to, I can see that our distributor's doing it, but I'm going to see if I can get it on Amazon cheaper. Okay. You're just wasting your money, basically. So I did want to just mention that. All right. So now I'm going to stop the share on here. And thanks, you guys, for allowing me to go through all that. And let me stop now and just take some questions. So if any of you have any questions, please unmute yourself, put on your camera if you want or not. And I'm here to take questions. What can I answer for you? And or, by the way, if no questions, I would love to hear some of your testimonials, how you've been using the wand, what you've been noticing. And while I'm waiting, so Margie, do you have a question, honey? You unmuted yourself.
Yeah. What if you think you're coming down with COVID? Is there anything you should do, or should you not?
Yes, here's what you can do. Now, let's think about for a moment what we said about what it does. Right? So it will take anything that's not a healthy human cell, and it has it vibrate much faster till it liquefies, right? So there is in the blowing guide, there is a protocol for colds and flus. So you do want to open up your blowing guide and look at that and use it. But here are some of the things that you can do. Number 1, drink the water. Obviously, we know that one already, right? You're going to drink the water. Number 2, this is something I do every day. I love this. Without any heat, I put it here and I breathe it in.
Yeah, I've been doing that too.
Beautiful. Okay.
Because I have sinus issues as well.
Good. And I'll open you can open your mouth and breathe it in through the mouth. Even if I know if we have something in here, but I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to breathe it in through my mouth. Wand into your ears. Ears, all around the ears, behind the ears, and right into the ears. Again, no heat. Okay. Maybe wand up and around the sinuses. And drink a lot of the water and just keep wanding. And then just continue. You can do the basic protocol, right? Do the lymph points. Allow everything to just keep moving. Cheryl, would you have something else that you would recommend doing with that? Anything else that you've maybe heard or read?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Just getting that up that nose and in the mouth really helps. And concentrate if it goes down into the lungs.
Thank you. I wasn't thinking lungs. Absolutely lungs. And I watched a video of one of our friends. His name is Sage. He's just a great little, I don't know if he's actually an acupuncturist. He's a body worker and he's been around for a long time. And he did a beautiful short video, Marjorie, on wanding the lung meridian.
I saw it.
Did you see it? That's what I would do. I would wand that meridian. Wasn't that a great?
Yeah, he went right up across and over.
And just do that. Yep. And just are you okay in the lung? Are you feeling able to?
I think they're pretty good. I've been doing it because I had moles in my body. So I've been doing all of that stuff anyway.
And feeling better.
A little better.
Well, now listen, because I happen to know Marjorie. She's a dear friend. And Marjorie had some neuropathy. Care to share what happened with your neuropathy?
It did disappear, but then it came back.
Well, then we keep going.
I'm doing everything every day.
Good, good, good. Good, good. Yeah, Dan, go ahead. Thanks, Marjorie. I hope that
You're
helps.
welcome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So Renee, in the as you're doing the wanding, is there any benefit to
Mhm.
envision the effect of the wand as the vibration or as the frequency passes through, what it's doing as far as maybe meditating on what's really going on within you? Does that really play a part in healing?
All right, so this is the woo-woo side of me. So those of you who are strict science, you can close your ears. Although what I will say is there is a ton of mind-body science showing absolutely that intention is huge and visualization is huge. So my answer to you is I do have a strong conviction that that does make a difference.
And is that part of your protocol?
It's part of my personal protocol.
Mhm.
That is so, and you know, I've kind of shared that, right? As I'm there doing my wand, I'm envisioning it going in my back, into my spine. I'm envisioning it just releasing my stem cells. I'm seeing my body just releasing these beautiful cells, anything that doesn't belong there. I'm seeing it almost like smoke coming out of my body. Now that's me, but you know, look, there is so much science now around the mind-body connection. We know how powerful our mind is with healing, how powerful it is from a healing standpoint, and how powerful our own belief system is. If I believe that I'm going to heal with this, I have a much stronger chance, in my opinion, of healing. That being
Agree.
said, I do still want to say that frequencies are science. We are sending frequencies in, but I do believe as well that we have an ability to target the different places that we want and to use our belief system and our visualization to also help ourselves heal. And to me, right, Dan, for me, it's also an act of self-love. It's an act of self-love for me to take time to stop taking care of everybody else and to sit with myself and to wand and to feel that and to drink the water. That's an act of self-love. And that's something that I think 99.9% of us just don't take time to help ourselves, right? And then what happens? We're exhausted at the end of the day. And instead of doing something self-love, what do? We sit down in front of the TV and we watch violence. Because what else is on? Right? And then we wonder why we don't feel good and we're in fear and we're all stressed out. The one thing that I also find with the wand, and it really relaxes me. I get really beautifully relaxed, but that's me. Maybe that's part of my belief that it should. So thank you for that question. What a beautiful question. Yeah, I love that. Now, Barb asked about tinnitus or tinnitus, however you want to ask it. You know, Barb, I've seen for some people that they are getting results. It's a booger of a one, isn't it, to get healing with? I have seen it help. I have one client that claims that yes, it's definitely lightening the amount of buzzing, but she hasn't gotten rid of it yet. So we're just hopeful. That's really the best that I can say. Try it if you have it, and try it on clients. You know, that's the best answer I can give you. I've seen some benefits. I can't tell you 100%. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks. All right, surely you guys, come on, give me some more questions. There's some more testimonials. Go, Dan.
I do have one testimony.
Yes.
And it's a in progress kind of state.
Perfect.
And I don't want to cause any bad images to anyone, but I have a big toe nail that had gathered fungus in underneath of it. So I've only had this wand for a couple weeks now, but I've been tapping that big toe with this wand, and it is without a doubt much better, not cured, but it is much better, and it's drier, it's healing. I can see the difference between when I started to where it is today.
Great.
And it's a significant difference, and it's stubborn.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
these fungus underneath your they're stubborn. I've made gains before, and it's quickly reclaiming ground. But now it seems like I really have a chance of getting rid of this thing.
I love it. Now, I'm curious, Dan, because Dan has shared his testimony where he was spraying up in his head and there was some issue there that went away. Are you spraying?
I do.
Good.
After I do my little wand, I give it a nice little soak.
Now, I got to tell you, yesterday, Prife International, our main distributor, they do a beautiful live stream every Sunday, and they have somebody on with a testimonial, and it's always kind of interesting. There was a gentleman on yesterday that was a physician. I think he was a neurosurgeon, they said. And anyway, he was just sharing some of the things that he does with his patients and some of the results. And what he does is, not to make it, we're not complicating our basic protocol, but I'm just saying, I thought this was fascinating. So what he does is he sprays first, wands over it. So he does a spray and a wand, and he sprays and wands. He does it like after he wands for 2 minutes, he resprays and wands. So he does it like every 2 minutes. And he says, he just gets great results. So just sharing, playing with it, what works. There's no one way to do it, right? And there's no way to do it wrong. That's kind of how I say, point and blow. There's no way to do it wrong unless you overdo it. And that's not wrong. You just have to back off. But anyway, that could be interesting.
Yes.
That could be interesting. So I just thought I'd share that for anybody that might be interested in that as well. Now, Rob Canarium had a great testimonial.
Yes. So I will go back to what Dan was saying about setting intentions and visualizing. If you see some of the videos of the scientists that developed this, they do talk about setting the intentions, and you have to visualize that, where you want it to work, that you could visualize it going into those cells. That was pretty cool that they were even saying that part. And then Dan, I did kind of use your little thing with the spritzing, because I had a cut and I started putting the water on my arm, and I was like, just checking it out. I didn't take pictures, but I was like, yeah, it seemed to work, it just seemed to be a little bit more smooth. So, but yesterday I strained my lower back really, really bad. I mean, I could hardly walk. Came home. I think I just blew a little on my back, went into the hot tub, came out. It's like, this isn't working. Cheryl did about 10, 15 minutes on my back, then put some of the essential oils on my back, blew it in there like Dr. Kim had commented on. Slept soundly, woke up, still sore, and I was really debating not going to work today. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up, go on my yoga mat, do some stretches, and then 10 minutes of wanding my back. I went to work with the intention that it's probably gonna work a half a day. I worked a full day, came home. I mean, I'm a little sore, but I would say 90% pain gone, because how I was walking last night, how I was walking around, and I walked all day today. And yeah, that was, I called him, Cheryl, and I'm like, I can't believe this,
Yeah.
But I did think about, okay, the wand is going into those muscles. You are like, making them feel better. And it's like, you feel the heat. And what's interesting is that where that pain is, that heat is so intense. Then you go to the side of the body and it's not as intense. So it's like, okay, you know exactly where that inflammation is, because your body's just screaming. But yeah, I thought that was really, really cool.
Oh, man, yay, you. That's great. I love it. I love that you're feeling better. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, see, that's a beautiful time for the heat, right? And how you can feel it differently. Wow. I mean, how powerful is that? That's just beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's almost worth having it, right? Just so you can share. All right, maybe not, but you know. All right, you guys, anybody else? I'm going to give everybody else a chance. I'm not seeing anybody else raising their hands. No? All right, well, thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this recording then.